Okay, let's begin. So the B2B Sales Workshop is to teach you how to sell a six-figure contract to a company. And there were two prep huddles to help you get ready for this workshop. Just really quickly, if you weren't able to join the prep huddles, the first one was talking about how important it is to have a target audience when you're B2B. And the second one was to talk about your current sales process and why B2C doesn't work for B2B. So because those were the two kickoffs, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on target audience and B2C versus B2B, what I would like you to put in the comments, though, is do you know your target audience? And if you know your target audience, put your target audience inside the chat. While you're putting in your target audience, the piece that I do want to emphasize when it comes to B2B and target audience is the more specific, the better. We want to say, well, if I stay really broad, there's more opportunity for people to buy from me. But if we stay very broad, then the sales process, the lead gen activities, the activities that you need to be doing to get the B2B, to get the sale, is going to be much, much harder because you are too broad in your target audience. So the more specific you are in your target audience when it comes to B2B, the better. So if you're saying to yourself, I don't know, there are so many businesses that this could be. The problem I solve could be solved for so many different types of companies. I want you to ask yourself a couple of these questions to try to help you start determining what audience, what businesses you should be targeting. So one is, do you have an idea of some of the industries that would need what you have? So do you have some industry types? That's one. That's one of the biggest questions to ask yourself. The second is, how many employees? How many employees are there? Sorry, I'm hearing myself. And the third is, what size is the business? And so small, medium, large, there are so many definitions to small, medium, and large. So for this context, a small business is anything under $1 million in revenue. $1 million to $5 million is a mid-sized business, and 5 million plus is a large business. Those three things. Why those three things? Oh, and the last one is, how long have the businesses been in business? Is it a startup within 3 to 5 years, been in business over 10 years? So those 4 questions you'll want to start answering. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. It's going to evolve, more is going to be revealed, but I want you to literally start picking some things. So when we get to the lead gen activities, it's going to make more sense to you. So FYI, when you're looking at why a business's revenue is really important, many of you are, not all of you, but many of you are bringing in consulting, bringing in workshops, bringing in programs, bringing in coaching, and anything that's not employee, like part of salary, there is a budget that's separate, right? So if it's a $1 million company, $5 million company, you're going to want to price it based on the size of the business. The larger the business, the higher the ticket can be for you. and it's anywhere from 1 to 3%. So that gives you an idea of how you can price based on the size of the company. Is that like set in stone? No, but it does give you an idea. So I see Kimberly, 30 to 100 employees, preferably mental health sector. Companies are well established and have training budgets. That is a perfect target audience build out. Good job. And I literally just looked at that. So now having that target audience, you can now build your lists a whole lot easier. So many of you are like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about building your list? So we'll get there in a second. So that's target audience. And then B2C versus B2B. If you have a sales process that you're using right now to get clients, what does that sales process look like? Are any of you using the B2C? I'll answer questions in a little bit. Are any of you using the B2C method? Lead magnet, email list, workshop challenge. I'm seeing some head shake. Okay. All right. That's because we're online entrepreneurs. So online entrepreneurs are using an online sales method, and it is a new sales method, and it is not used with B2B. So it's very confusing because we get sold to through the online method because we are online entrepreneurs and that's how we buy. But your client, so that's our perspective, your client, the business does not buy that way. So you need a whole new perspective, which is the perspective of your buyer versus you as the buyer. So a business owner, an HR director, a company, they don't buy through a lead magnet, a newsletter, a sales page, and a workshop. An online entrepreneur buys that way, not a business owner that runs a company. So when I was running the bank for years and years and years, I didn't run the bank, but I interviewed over 100 CEOs to find out how they bought because I was building out a sales curriculum. And a large majority of these CEOs that run manufacturing companies, hospitals, doctors' offices, they all told me that they respond to someone they like, trust, and they need what they have at that exact moment. So what that means is that you have to be in front of these people like white on rice. It takes up to 16 touches before someone like a C-suite or an HR director or a decision maker at a company is going to respond to you. They do not care about the B2C method. They care about like, trust, and need at the time that they need it. So in saying that, target audience, B2C, it makes sense that it's not working. What is going to work? Okay, so the definition of sales, lead gen, and marketing. Let me give you some definitions. Okay, while I'm giving definitions, what do you think the definition is of sales? What do you think the definition is of lead gen? And what do you think the definition is of marketing? I would love to have the people that are in the chat that do marketing to also put like, what's their definition of marketing? I'd love to know that. And there's Courtney, you do lead gen. So what's your definition of lead gen in the chat? So here's the definition of sales, lead gen, and marketing. And it's really simple. Marketing is inbound. Marketing is how people find you. So it is everything that you're doing that's allowing for your audience to find you, to be attracted to you, to fall in love with you. It is inbound, though. It is how people find you. I'm really stressing that, because sales and lead gen is outbound. It's how you find your people. Marketing, how they find you and they fall in love with you. Outbound, how you go find them and seek them out and target them and get them to love you. Everyone wants to do marketing. Everyone wants to do that, because with marketing, they don't have to go and find. They can wait patiently for people to come to them. The problem is that people aren't going to come to you, especially right out of the gate. There's no such thing as I will build it and they will come. I have built businesses for 20 years and I have yet to build a business where I build it and they come. It usually, realistically, guys, it usually takes about 2 years before you see a steady automatic flywheel of leads, because you are implementing both inbound and outbound. Both. So if you are just implementing marketing and some lead magnets and workshops, you're going to get frustrated, because you need to put this outbound sales and lead gen into play that you don't want to do in order for that CEO, that business owner, to buy from you. Yay! So that's the definition. Any questions on that right now? Just like throw it out to me. Any questions on inbound versus outbound? Gilda, you're up.
You said outbound, how I find my people. Is that the lead gen? And if so, what is the sales?
Yeah. So that's next.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
right.
I'm getting
You're
ahead.
right
Never
there.
mind. Thank you.
No, that's good. So outbound, since we don't know what that is, that's what this workshop is all about. What are those things that we need to be doing? Perfect. Leading me right there. Okay. So to Gilda's point, okay, so what is this outbound? What's the sales? What's the lead gen, right? So sales and lead gen are basically the same thing. Lead gen is the activity and sales is your messaging. Sales is what happens when you actually get somebody on a call. So there is a formula for B2B and for B2C, by the way. This outbound needs to be done whether you're doing B2C or B2B. So, but there's a formula for outbound, and well, for all lead gen activities. The formula for all lead gen activities, if anybody knows, you can feel free to put it in the chat. But that formula is that you have a quality audience. You know who you're targeting, times a volume, a number, an amount of target audience that you're going to do something with. That do something is important because there's multiple things you're going to do, not just one. And then the equal is results. What's going to happen? And our result line, that result doesn't have to be a sale. The result can be that I'm just getting somebody in front of me. I set an appointment. I have a meeting. So we need the audience. We need a volume. We need a result for every activity that I'm going to teach you right now. All right, so here comes the first. Any questions on that formula? Okay. Here comes the first. Who wants to guess what the first lead gen activity is that you have to be doing to land a six-figure contract? Go ahead, Gilda. What do you think it is?
Is get in front of people and let them know what you do, which could be an elevator moment or any other time that you share what you do.
Okay, another word for that is outreach.
Yes, yes, outreach.
Gilda, send me your address so I can send you a tote.
Whoop, whoop. Yes, I will.
All right. So, we're not recreating the wheel, but here's the thing, that formula is necessary when it comes to outreach. We need that list. So that's what that target audience is so important. So if you are targeting, Martha, who are you targeting right now?
I am targeting 7-figure, like 5 million, 10 years in business that are looking to rebrand. Mostly
Okay.
consultants.
Mostly coaches?
Mostly
Okay.
consult organizational consulting, yeah.
Consultants. So Martha would be on LinkedIn right now. She would be building a list off of Sales Navigator or off of different groups inside of LinkedIn, like Chief or She-Fi, or I'm thinking of groups that are filled with consultants, and she'd be farming and manually building a list or using the filters through Sales Navigator to build a really beefy, big list of consultants that fit exactly who she is. And then that volume, depending on the type of lead, if it's cold, warm, or hot, is going to be dependent on how much volume she needs so she can do the outreach. Important piece about the outreach. When we are doing outreach as B2B, Myrna's coming in. We are not pitching ever. So when you're doing a B2B outreach, the goal for the outreach is to get a meeting. It is to get an appointment. Because what you'll find with one of my little things in here is that when we are meeting with business owners, they are never going to respond to a pitch in their email, in their DM, in a phone call, and showing up. What they will respond to is a lovely prospecting guide that goes over why you're reaching out to them, what you have in common, why it's so important to meet with them, why it's so important for them to meet with you, and for them to schedule a meeting. It's all about scheduling the meeting when it comes to B2B. And to be honest, it's all about scheduling the meeting when it comes to B2C too, especially if your ticket is over $2,000. Or if you're Rachel Rogers and you can get people to buy without a sales call for $25,000, but none of us are there yet. So that's outreach. Now, when it comes to outreach, this isn't a one and done. This is you're taking and building lists off of your target audience, and you're going out there over and over and over again, practicing these scripts, figuring out what's working, what's not working. And from there, then scheduling these meetings and then walking through these calls. And that alone, without these other three that I'm going to hand you, but that alone, just that, will land you a six-figure contract. Why will it land you a six-figure contract? One, because nobody else is doing it right now. And two, because it's a novelty. It is a novelty right now to have someone actually spend time with you versus just try to sell you via a sales page. And when it comes to B2B, you have got to build a relationship. Okay. Number two. So I hear quite often that I have built all of my business store up from word of mouth and from referrals. I hear that probably 75% of my clients. I have built my business through word of mouth and referrals. And the pro to that, what the pro to that is that, man, people really like you, right? That's how you built your business, is through referrals and word of mouth. The con to that is it's accidental and it doesn't have any consistency. So when you say, I'm going to hit this goal in July, how are you going to do that if it's all on word of mouth and people liking you through a referral? So what do you think is in the second bag here? Victoria?
An outreach plan or strategy?
Close.
Schedule, maybe?
You're close. The outreach plan is absolutely number one. Having that weekly lead gen plan where you are planning out your outreach every day, so huge. Another piece of outreach, besides doing outreach to your target audience, besides doing outreach to your ideal client profile, who else should you be doing outreach to?
Maybe, oh, sorry.
No, you can answer.
Potential partners in the industry?
Yes, you did it.
People that are already working with those customers?
Yeah. I could see some of my clients smiling and they were like, if they say it, they feel fine. So yes, Victoria, go ahead and email me your address so I can send you a tote. So yeah, it's like going as partners. But here's the thing. We don't have a partnership strategy. We don't have a partnership lead gen plan. We just know people that like us or clients that have used to work with us. And once in a while, they're going to refer. And that's wonderful. It's wonderful to have referral relationships. However, we need to be building out partnership development so these partners become true centers of influence. So a center of influence is a person that has the exact same audience as you, but you do something completely different than them. So let's say we've got Maribel and Martha. Martha is a brand expert. Maribel is a web designer. They both want to work with 7-figure consultants. They should be partnering like crazy together because they have the same audience, but they sell different things. How can they both open up each other's businesses so they can serial refer to each other? And I say serial refer versus just refer because there is a constant connection doing that. Toss affiliate programs off to the side. Again, affiliate, B2C, sales pages. We're talking just true relationships here. Any center of influence that I ever had, all of them, it's they're referring because they like me, but we're just putting a formality to it. So you want to build out centers of influence where you're both sharing each other's books of businesses, where you're both collaborating together, you're doing things together. So there's a mutual benefit for both of you. And there doesn't have to be a payment collected at the end, but formal, putting something together formally. Questions on that? Okay. Where's my little notes here? Okay. Number 3.
Sorry, Dora, can I just ask a question? When you say putting something together formally, are you talking about an agreement that outlines how you will work, or how, like, what do you mean formally?
So formally would be going back to the parent formula. So we're going to go back to the quality audience time quantity equals results. So I'm going to ask you to build a list. Who are these partners? And then you're going to reach out to them, and then you're going to have meetings with them. And then you're going to continue that cycle until you've built enough centers of influence where you're constantly getting referrals from them.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that the relationship had to be formalized in like that those referrals are coming, and that's what I misinterpreted. Thanks. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it certainly could be, but it's not necessary. It's more like this is like the action. Take the action to build these relationships. Okay, number 3. This one's hard. No one gets this one. This one's tough. But so if you don't get it, it's okay. But this is really fun. I think this Mary Poppins bag is fun. So what do you think? Number 3 is we have partners, we have outreach, we have 2 more. What's the third thing that we should be, what third lead gen activity should we be doing that follows that sales formula? Nikisha, you can tell me.
I was gonna say building your ecosystem.
Yes.
I was trying to give somebody else the opportunity.
I know it's a hard one. It's a hard one. Who knows building your ecosystem? None of us do. So let me define what building your ecosystem means. I tell the story around this because it's the only way I know how to explain it. So building your ecosystem, I had a fintech startup at one time, and this startup was a really complex product. We sold crowdfunding to small businesses. So we helped small businesses get access to capital so they could grow their business. It was right when crowdfunding passed. Nobody knew what crowdfunding was. It was a brand new business. It was super complex. We had no audience, nothing. So I had to figure out how to take this complex product and make it national, make people buy it. But I knew that small businesses were my target audience. So I had to figure out what kind of small businesses were going to buy this product of crowdfunding. So I started locally, right here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I started locally and I started to figure out, where do these small businesses hang out? Where are they? Well, they're at entrepreneurial hubs. They're at innovation hubs. They're at the small business development centers. They're at the women's development centers. They're at the colleges trying to figure out how to build businesses. So I started to go there and find out the people that ran these organizations, find out, can I show up? Can I start teaching workshops? Can I start being on panels? Can I start advising these small businesses? And after about 6 months of doing that, people started to know me as Dora, the chick that got small businesses capital because you couldn't get the money at the bank. And so that's how it started. And once I figured it out, then I could go from from city to city to city to city. And that was building my ecosystem. So I was in the center and everybody around me, it was the partners on steroids. So I'm in the center and there's a big audience around me of all small businesses that I could help support. So the research that you need to be doing to build your ecosystem is based on who your audience is, who your buyers are, where are they hanging out that you can go and speak, be part of panels, be on podcasts, and be part of. So this is all of the conferences that you can be attending. Anywhere if your clients are realtors, where are all the realtors hanging out? Not building just a relationship with one realtor at a time, but where are they all? Where can you network? What memberships can you get involved in? What organizations? If I have a client that's a consultant to breweries, right? So she is always where the breweries are, like all their conferences. And she's known as the DEI consultant for breweries because she has built her ecosystem so well around breweries. It is a longer term game, but it's so worth it. It's also a lot of work, but worth it. So that's ecosystem. Questions? Are any of you already doing some of that work? You are. Yeah. I figured many of you are doing a lot of that work, speaking at conferences and panels and workshops and podcasts. Again, put a formality around it. What's the strategy? What research are you doing, or are you winging it? Oh, if somebody asks me to speak, I'll go speak. Or, oh, I think I'll try to be on a podcast or two this month. Put some strategy, some research, do the digging of figuring out where your audience really is hanging out, and then show up there. Okay, so the last one, I changed the name of it just for this workshop. Why does my daughter happen to be calling? Wait. So I changed the name of it just for this workshop. So if you give me either one, it's fine. Last one. So this is the 4th lead gen activity to land this 6-figure contract. Any guesses? No. I'll take either one.
It could
Any
be
guess-
advertising.
So very close. Yes, very, very close. So the last one can be either inbound marketing, or for this workshop, I simply called it relationship building. So the 4th thing to be doing is your inbound marketing or relationship building. When it comes to B2B, we are building relationships. When they do set an appointment with you, then your inbound marketing, that's when it matters. So when they go and check you out, there's something there. It's also a way for you to ensure that you're nurturing them. So inbound marketing or relationship building with B2B is credibility. So that's where the consistency matters, because you're going to show up nurturing and being credible when they do set a meeting with you, and they can go back to your LinkedIn, go back to your Instagram, and see that you're actually posting, that there's actually things that are relevant to what you're reaching out to them for. So the big news here, and where everybody is always like, seriously, Dora? And I don't want you to snap, crackle, pop over this. I just want you to process it and take it in. But all 4 of these, that target audience times that formula, all 4 of these need to be happening when, Jennifer, when do they need to be happening? And weekly. So we don't pick and choose. To get to a B2B, to sell the B2B, to sell it on autopilot. So if you want 3 contracts, or you want the 6-figure contract, you want to have $100,000 in 10 days like I did, you have to be doing all 4 of these weekly. All 4, not pick and choose. That's where the strategy really comes into play. Sales and lead gen and marketing, when you encompass all 4 of these and start doing them weekly, you will see the results. And I hand you guys this because I see so often that we get stuck in the inbound marketing. If I just post enough, if I just go live enough, then someone's going to come to me and I'm going to be able to sell my service. And we get stuck there, and we're not doing the sales and lead gen consistently. Oh, there's something else I was going to say and now I forgot. All right, so over those 4 things, oh, I know what I was going to say. The the list of what inbound marketing consists of. So inbound marketing, which some of you could tell me better than I can tell you, is all of your social media posting, your lead magnets, your newsletters, your website traffic, your SEO. I'm not saying not to do them. I'm saying that B2B, it shouldn't be the number one priority. It should be there, but not the number one priority. And it's not what's going to get you the sale. Bottom line, what's going to get you the sale is strategic outreach, building your relationships with your partners, and truly building an ecosystem around showing that you're the expert. So who's overwhelmed? Who's like, I want to get off this call and I never want to see Dora again. So the reality is like, this is truly the stuff that I taught and that I did for many, many moons, especially when it comes to companies. So the lead magnets, the newsletters, if you're selling to online entrepreneurs, eventually that system will work. It takes time. But if you're selling to B2B and if you're selling to B2C, this lead gen, this strategy that you're doing weekly will work. What questions, throw some at me. If you already put them in chat, go ahead and throw them at me again, because all we did today, guys, was go over the actions. We didn't go over the actual sales. We didn't go over like, well, what should my messaging be? And what do I do when I actually get on a call? I'm actually going to share a couple of things with you around that. So go ahead and ask me some questions.